And pro-family activists warned of the dangers of sports gambling before states began to legalize it wholesale. Now state leaders are starting to listen, with an increasing number of teens developing addiction. Several states want to add warnings about gambling to drug and alcohol addiction education in the classroom. According to the National Council of Problem Gambling, up to 80% of high school students report having gambled for money during the past year. This is SRN News. Japan's government has adopted a revision to the country's plans to use more hydrogen as fuel.
The plan sets an ambitious target to increase the annual supply by 6 times from the current level to 12 million tons by 2040. It also pledges $107 billion in funding from both private and public sources to build up hydrogen-related supply chains over the next 15 years. Japan's decarbonization strategy centers on using so-called clean coal, hydrogen, and nuclear energy.
That's Jeremy House reporting. The Republican National Committee has announced Bank Your Vote. It's a nationwide campaign focused on maximizing early voting in elections around the country.
We're going to protect your vote with poll watchers and poll workers, but we also can't let Democrats get a head start. So this starts now, this education, and certainly key states like Pennsylvania.
That's GOP Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. More on these stories at srnnews.com.
The following program is sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Get ready with your legal questions and call Patrick now. 877-943-9673. Again, that's 877-943-9673. The law office is open. And now your host, Patrick Smith.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. Today is Saturday, June 10th, 2023, and we will be with you for the next hour. Again, this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. For those of you new to the show, we are a legal call-in show here every Saturday morning as a community service to you, the great state of Florida, to answer any and all of your legal questions. That number to be part of the show today, give us a call now. Open lines to be part of the law office, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. That's your live and local number to be part of today's broadcast. You can call in with any legal question that's on your mind. Maybe something popped up during the week, has your blood pressure up, maybe you're a little apoplectic about it. You can give us a call. We'll do our best live on the air to give you some peace of mind. So again, that number, if we can help you in any way, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. And as always, you can email your questions, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. And we have the usual group with us today, the interns, Yumiko, the producer, Brian, the call screener, standing by to screen your calls. And again, that number, 877-943-9673. About a year ago, maybe a little more than that now, we did our first show on scams plaguing the Sunshine State. So today's episode will be dedicated sort of Scams 2.0. We'll do our second edition of the Attorney Patrick Smith Show dedicated to scams, and it's sort of everything scam related. So we're encouraging you to call in not only with your legal questions, but if you've been scammed, if people have attempted to scam you, you can call in and sort of share your thoughts, your experience of the different scams that you've gone through, and we can walk you through how to report it, how to avoid being scammed in the future. So that's sort of where we're aiming for today. But of course, we're taking all your legal questions. 877-943-9673. Last time we got some very, very interesting calls with the scams that were going around the state. So 877-943-9673. And again, I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I want to talk first about insurance fraud scams that are plaguing the state of Florida. And this is according to the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation. Insurance scams are prevalent in Florida, especially relating to property insurance and auto insurance. Inflated claims, staged accidents, or false damage reports are common tactics employed by fraudsters seeking to defraud insurance companies, those poor insurance companies. These scams contribute to higher insurance premiums for all policyholders. We're going to circle back to that in just a moment. We have seen these higher rates recently in the state, thanks to Ron DeSantis' tort reform bill requiring all those who use Citizens Insurance to acquire flood insurance. Okay, So let's agree the fraud is bad. Yes. If you have a story about someone who, was part of an insurance fraud scam, didn't turn out well for them, kind of that story, we'd love to hear it. But the point here is insurance fraud is one of those that hits us directly in the pocketbook because we all wind up paying for it. And I also want to hear from you. If you have homeowners insurance in the state of Florida and your homeowners insurance increased, call in. We're curious to know if it increased and by how much. What was the percentage? I mean, mine personally jumped very significantly. I was talking to several friends. Theirs also jumped significantly. And a lot of people are left scratching their heads. And one of the reasons why, in addition to potential legislation that says it's designed to ameliorate these issues and, reduce frivolous lawsuits and reduce premiums, it doesn't really seem to be doing it. I mean, it may be reducing lawsuits against the insurance companies, but the premiums don't seem to be going down. It's quite the opposite. They're jumping pretty significantly. And we have some county by county numbers for you. So, according to our research, in Hillsborough County, insurance is increased by 12.2%. In Pinellas County, 12.5%. For those of you listening in my home county of Polk, 13.1%. Manatee, 13.7%. Sarasota County, you're one of the higher ones, 14.4%. But leading the pack, good old Citrus County, 15.3% increase. Now, for those of you who would like to get involved, there was actually a meeting held on Thursday, June 8th, and it was an open hearing up in Tallahassee regarding the rate increases in Florida homeowners insurance throughout the state of Florida. Now, a lot of people didn't know about this, and you can criticize whomever you want about why this wasn't more loudly broadcast in the regular media, but you're going to hear it here on the Attorney Patrick Smith Show for sure. So on June 8th, they had a meeting for open comment. However, the open comment portion, if you want to share your thoughts on your insurance rate increases directly with the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation, you can email your comment to rate hearings, RATEHEARINGS, rate hearings at FLOIR.com, FLOIR.com, as in Florida Office of Insurance Regulation. So rate hearings at Florida at FLOIR.com. You can send your comments directly and let the state know, let the Office of the Insurance Regulator know your thoughts on the increase in rates. And call in if you've been dropped. A lot of people I've talked to, their insurance companies just dropped them altogether. So we've got this legislation that's supposedly helping, stave off frivolous lawsuits against insurance companies, but people are still getting dropped. Those that aren't getting dropped are suffering under this burden of increased rates. So, and partly related to scams that are insurance fraud, and then everyone else winds up paying for the fraudsters' activity. So 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. That's your live and local number to be part of today's program. If you want to call in with your scam story, maybe you have a thought, maybe you want to call in and share how much your insurance went up recently, any thoughts at all. And again, for those of you who want to share your comments directly with the state, it's rate hearings at FLOIR.com. So 877-943-9673 to be part of today's show, 877-943-9673, or email me, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com, Patrick at attorneypatricksmith.com. Next scam we're going to talk about is the vacation rentals scam. That, of course, hot topic here because we've been tracking the short-term rentals controversy in Indian Rocks Beach, and the new ordinance has been passed. I was speaking to some city officials recently about the implementation, and they are telling me it is going to be sort of a ease into the new city ordinance. And we are working on doing a follow-up piece once the city's ordinance is fully into effect, and trying to line up some very special guests to discuss that. But to that end, let's talk about the vacation rental scam. With Florida being a major vacation stop, many scammers go after vacation rentals. They place fake listings on social media platforms, Airbnb, and other vacation sites. Once someone pays, they pocket the money and then go on to the next victim. So they're posting your property as if it's their Airbnb. This happened to a neighbor of mine. They literally got a knock on their doors, probably, I think, Saturday morning. And someone showed up and said, "We are here for the Airbnb." And the neighbor said, "Only problem is we're not an Airbnb. This is our home." They said, "This isn't your listing." They pulled it up. It was their home listed on Airbnb. I forget how much it was going for a night. But that ought to scare everyone. I mean, you have a complete stranger showing up. Now, they're in good faith. They think they've rented a home. They're there with their family to go on vacation. And all of a sudden, they find out that not only do they not have a vacation, they've been scammed. So be aware of the vacation rental scam. A great way to avoid that is make sure you check the reviews. And I think it's also a good idea to, you can verify directly with Airbnb or whatever third-party provider is listing, and to make sure that it isn't legitimate vacation rental, so you and your family don't wind up scaring the bejesus out of some poor souls by showing up on their front doorstep and saying, "We're here for the weekend. Thanks." So 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. We're live. We're local. We're happy to help any way we can. And we are talking all things scam related. We've knocked out 2 so far: insurance fraud and vacation rental scams. All right, let's go to our first caller of the day. Let's go to Sarasota. Let's talk to Doug. Doug, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, Doug. What station are you listening on?
I'm listening to 102.5.
The Bone. We appreciate you and all our other Bone listeners. Doug, how can we help you today?
Well, I've talked to a couple smaller lawyers. I guess I Googled lawyers near me just to see if there was anything illegal done. I know something was illegal done, but what I could do about it after the fact. And what it involves is the Department of Revenue and the child support case. I'm almost 60. My youngest is 35. My oldest is 40. When I'm from Florida, and she has the children out of state. We had divorce, and they were about 8 or 10 when the child support actually went through the court system. We did it through our divorce before that, just both of us being cool with each other. And so anyway, she went through the court system to have the interstate claim set up on 2 cases, and they did. They set it up. And the kids were probably 16 to 18, and so I only had a few years left. And then I got one of the people at the Department of Revenue came in and said, "Well, your son has emancipated himself, and so his child support case now, not any arrearage or anything that I've missed, but his case is no longer a child support case; it's an arrearage case." So it wasn't long after that. My daughters, they're the older ones, 35 and 38. They've been married. They both had kids when they were 18. They've both been married twice now. I have 6 grandkids total. I'll try to make it short and sweet. What has happened is I've dealt with the Department of Revenue and the child support for many, many years, longer than anyone that even worked there, for the last 20 years. So I went to, after COVID was the only time, when COVID happened, was the only time I didn't get any correspondence from them. And I had went to the clerk of courts and said, "Hey, what should I do?" She's like, "Well, just they're not calling anybody in, nothing's happening. Everybody thinks just on a lull right now. So I just wait to hear from them." So I did. And then when I went back in, I had a guy who was probably about as old as my oldest son working there. I've never seen him before. When you walk in the place, you don't get to pick who you go to talk to. You fill out some paperwork and you sit down, they call a number, and you go in that room. And these are all very, very, very unskilled and untrained people. Like I said, I've never seen anyone there for more than a year. Well, this guy, he's going on and he's saying, "Oh, hey, I can fix all this for you if you give me a couple $100 cash," right? soon as he said that, I knew. I'm like, he's trying to extort money out of me. There's a sign. There's 50 signs in this building that say we do not accept cash, checks, gifts, tips, nothing. Even if you want to make a payment there, a legitimate payment, you just can't make it there. You got to go to the clerk and make it. So when I took to the clerk of court, she told me that it looked to her, because she had a hard time taking a payment, and she was like, it looks to me like you have been paying child support for about 15 years. She's like, this case no longer is in existence. And then she said, this case should have been gone long ago, but she's like, what it looks to me, just glancing at it, looks like you've been paying child support for about 15 years. It's all arrearages because they all turned 18, but, so, when that happened, when I knew the guy was extorting money from me, there wasn't a lot I could do. I didn't know who he was, if he was the boss or who he was, but I went to the city police and they got a detective right on it. And I met him the next morning.
Hey, Doug.
Doug.
Yeah. Doug. The show's only an hour. The show's only an hour.
Shorter.
Yeah. Can you just? I appreciate you making a long story short, but yeah. Just
anyway, the
question.
The cops set up a sting. I went in the next morning, and the guy took the money. And when I walked out of the child support office, they said, when you walk out, if he took the money, just tip your hat. If he didn't, just walk to your truck. Well, he took the money. So he was arrested. And they just told me, don't go back in this office until we get this figured out. Because we're probably going to arrest him. He's probably going to bond out. And he's probably going to have a job till he loses it through the court system. So anyway, finally got a letter about 6 months later, said all your claims are substantiated. Had 2 detectives come to my house, do a video, set up a tripod, whole deal. And when the detectives turned their tripods off and their recorders, they're like, if I was you, I would find a decent lawyer. But once I tried to do that, everybody got scared. Nobody wanted to go.
All right, Doug. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you. I'm going to give you the best answer I can to that treatise of a question. So the short version is, Doug, I'm sorry. I really am sorry you went through that saga. You need to get with a good family law attorney. If you want a referral to one, reach to me at the law office during the week, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with the one that can get you squared away on any arrearages issues that you might be facing and you want settled. And it sounded like you weren't the direct target of the criminal investigation. But if there is an element where you may be involved in that, of course, we can put you in touch with attorney Matt Kendall, who was here last week to discuss any possible criminal defense issues. That office line to reach me at the office, 877-754-6764, 877-754-6764. But to be part of today's show, that number, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith, and we're discussing all things scams. So call in with your scams that you've been part of, maybe. Maybe you facilitated a scam. Maybe you're a malfeasant evil doer out there and you want to share your scam. That would be an interesting perspective that we haven't heard on the show yet. But more commonly, of course, if you're a victim, we want to hear your story and walk you through how to report it to the Attorney General office at Miss Ashley Moody and get the justice, hopefully, that you deserve. So 877-943-9673. I'm very excited for this next call. We're going to Dunedin and we're going to talk to Ron. Ron, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, and this is a conversation that does not involve child custody.
Well,
we're going back to insurance.
Ron, when I saw Ron from Dunedin, do you know which famous Ron that I thought might be calling in?
Christopherson. I don't know.
No, I think the governor. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Ron. You're a good sport. How can I help?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm an original house owner in Dunedin. The house was built in '99. I've been with the same insurance company for 23 years. And over the years, I've dropped sinkhole coverage. I don't think it's necessary where I'm at, as well as eventually hurricane insurance because it got cost prohibitive.
Well, the deductible on the insurance is ridiculous for the hurricane deductible.
It is. And I'm in a position where I'm self-insured in both of those situations, which is a chunk of change it could be, but I'm just playing the odds.
Right.
So as the years went by, you talk about an increases. Mine was 33%. It was from the same insurance company I've had for 23 years. So I got the notice. I called him right away, and I said, "What happened? I've never had a claim in 23 years." And he says, "Well, everyone is raising their insurance rates." I said, "Well, that doesn't make me any happier." And he asked, "Would you like me to get some competitive quotes?" I said, "Of course I would." So he emailed me the next day and said, "I've checked with 3 other companies. No one's as competitive as we are." And I had like a month and a half before it would renew. So I went online and spent a lot of hours getting 4 other quotes. And indeed, I couldn't get anything less than what the 33% increase was.
Well, and Ron, to
really,
be honest with you, you're one of the lucky ones because at least you didn't get dropped. I mean, there are people out there that just got a notice in the mail. Hey, by the way, you're no longer going to be insured by us. And if they have a mortgage, they have a duty to carry that insurance policy. Mine personally, by the way, I too am part of that 30% club, but I'm at 38.9%. Was my personal increase on my homeowner's insurance. And you're right. I don't like to mess around with insurance. I want to get a good, reputable company because when you call your insurance company, something terrible has happened. You want to know you've got someone who's going to be there for you and your family. You don't want to do a bare bones insurance company. I mean, you want to get good coverage because when you need it, that's what brings you peace of mind, is knowing that you have that security blanket, so to speak. So you said you shopped it around and all the other rates were higher. Well, you can go give those comments to rate hearings at FLOIR.com, and those are still open till June 22nd, by the way, if you want to let the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation know that that was your experience, Ron.
Yeah, just so you know, when they did send me the rate increase, the cover letter says good news in effect. They did drop me, but they also had a subsidiary company that picked it up, and therefore the rate was higher, and I thought it was because they dropped me. But
you cut out
don't
for a
ask me
second.
why.
You cut out for a second. You said when they sent you the letter, it said good news, we've dropped you.
No, in effect, they said good news, bad news.
Okay.
They dropped me, but a subsidiary company of their own picked it back up. I felt that was the reason for the increase.
I was going to give them a couple points for just being humorous like that. Well done. Like at least they made you chuckle. Hey, good news. That rate increase, you don't have to worry about it. We're not going to insure you at all. So problem solved. Ron, great call. We appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All righty, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. 877-943-9673. Ron hanging up does open up a phone line. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the governor's from the Dunedin area. So when I saw Ron from Dunedin, I was like, oh, great. Talk to the man himself. For those of you just joining the show, we're discussing scams and all things scams related. We have so far talked about different types of scams relating to homeowners insurance, as well as our next topic, elder fraud. This will appeal to a lot of the audience out there. And there's the romance scam. Criminals pose as interested romantic partners on social media or dating websites to capitalize on their elderly victims' desire to find companions. I see this one a lot, unfortunately, where the lonely are manipulated into believing there's this. And, your generation over there, interns, talks about this in terms of catfishing and basically posing as someone else online. And here you have the elderly who, have that spirit and desire to help and have companionship. And this scam, unfortunately, checks both those boxes. So make sure if you're talking to someone online and they ask for money, don't give it to them. I mean, it's a simple thing, but it's also really difficult for a lot of people because you have a tender heart and you want to help those in need. So 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. Next, let's go to Tampa and let's talk to Ryan. Ryan, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Are you there, sir?
I'm here, Ryan. What station are you listening on today?
I'm in Tampa, Florida, and I do crime scene cleanup. I have a company called All Hazard Response, and I know that fraud has impacted my clients because in the past 3 years, they changed the law about assignment of benefits, about being able to start the job. And since we clean up things like suicide, we're now in a dilemma that we can't even often start the job until we get an approval from the insurance company. Meanwhile, the family is suffering. And this goes back to the whole roofing and sinkhole, dilemma that was overcharging insurance companies.
Well, and there's another way it's impacting the economy negatively. And when these scams go out there, someone, it's like the old economics statement. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone is going to wind up paying for this at some. So you said you have a crime scene clean. I missed that. I missed that booth at Career Day in high school. So what got you into crime scene cleanup? How did you stumble into that career choice, Ryan?
Interesting. I the fire and EMS service. Hazmat. I did deconstruction. I met somebody online, romance scam, Craigslist at the time, for a company, and I ended up and hired by her. Later, I started her and 3 other employees. We've been providing base services to our can afford the.
Ryan, that is the best story that will never be heard. The cell signal was just too not reliable, Ryan. We were getting like every other word, but I heard Craigslist, which intrigued me. I heard romance scam, and I know this was all ending with you somehow winding up in the crime scene business. Ryan, email me that story. We will get you back on the show because we need a good cell connection. I want to hear the answer to that question. I got a feeling it's pure gold. So you can email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, or call me at the office during the week. Or if you get to a landline or a decent cell signal relatively soon, call back. And I want to hear the answer to that question. But every other word must have been painful for everyone to listen to. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. If you're just joining us, we're talking all things scams. Our next elder fraud scam, one of my personal favorites, the tech support scam. Criminals pose as technology support representatives and offer to fix non-existent computer issues. The scammers gain remote access to victims' devices and sensitive information. So a lot of times, this may be shocking, a lot of times the elderly don't understand technology, although I think that's shrinking. The more and more elderly I interact with, they have their Apple Watches and their iPads, and they are getting more and more technologically savvy. But the fraudsters know that a lot of people don't understand tech, so they use it to take advantage. So be aware of people calling you up or sending you an email just saying, hey, there's an issue, we need to fix it. You always want to hire a reputable company anytime you have technical issues regarding your personal computer, and make sure you don't just give some stranger remote access. So if you have a question or a scam you want to share, 877-943-9673. And by the way, that office line, Ryan, if you want to call me, that we can give me that full story, or anybody else who wants to call to schedule an appointment for Sarasota, Sun City Center, which, by the way, we have a jam day there on Tuesday. For the Clearwater office where I was yesterday, that office line to schedule your complimentary consultation, 877-754-6764. Again, 877-754-6764. Or you can just go to the website, attorneypatricksmith.com, and then you can submit your request for an email directly through the website. Again, attorneypatricksmith.com. That's also where you can listen to archived versions of the show. All right, let's go to a very patient Mike in Venice. Mike, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, Patrick, good to be here.
Hey, Mike, what station are you listening on?
102.5.
All right, we appreciate you, Mike. How can we help you today?
All right, well, first of all, I really enjoy your show, and it's something here that, I'm in my coming up on 64 years old. My wife and my goal is to pay our house off.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so we're still got a ways to go, but we're hoping by the time I retire at 67, it'll be paid off. But my concern and my wife's concern is about title theft. I'm seeing where people are coming in and somehow, getting title to your home and selling it out from underneath you. And I'm just wondering, how can this even happen? But, we like that Next Door Neighbor app, and there was a gentleman from Canada that was in Canada. His house here in Florida, a for sale sign went in the yard, and his neighbor called and said, "Hey, man, you never told me you're selling your house. What do you want for it?" He goes, "I'm not selling my house." So apparently somebody was able to glom title to his home and list it with a realtor, and it was under the process of selling it out from underneath him. So is that more apt to happen if you have a mortgage, don't have a mortgage on your home, or if you do keep the mortgage? That's what my wife's concerned about. Is, hey, maybe we don't need to pay the house off as quick just because it might be tougher for that to take place.
Yeah, I think.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think having the mortgage just amplifies the number of victims if it occurs, because then the mortgage company would also be a victim to that, because I'm guessing when they do that transfer, they're not doing a warranty deed with a title search, which would show the mortgage, which would also show this is not the person who is the legal owner of the property. They're probably using a quitclaim deed or something of that nature to convey, and that quitclaim deed in that particular scenario, the person is quitclaiming their interest in the property. They're not, in fact, warranting that they have any interest in the property. They're just saying, I'm giving you whatever interest I have in the property, be it 100% interest or nothing at all. We see those things that you can battle against. You can petition to have the deed set aside, go after the malfeasant party in this scenario. Obviously, the mortgage company would have their remedies as well. So it's one of those things, but you described a perfect scenario, a fact pattern. It's someone that is not abandoning their property, but they're absent for long periods. That's one of the things. And when people sort of, when they're shopping for a mark to victimize, that's one of the key flags they look for to take advantage. Someone that they believe is either really, really old, or someone they believe is not home for a significant period of time. They know you're taking a long trip, or they know you live 6 months up north, like you mentioned in your facts, and the young man living in Canada. And I think as long as if you periodically check the property appraiser site, it has your deed of public record up there. So if you can check it for free. You just pull it up.
Okay.
I mean, some people, you can set it to your homepage. So when you get up in the morning, turn on your computer, it'll show you how your deed reads if you're really that worried about it. Otherwise, I just tell clients, every time you think about it and you get nervous, go check the public record. And if it's there and in your name, you're in good shape. If something weird, wonky pops up, call your attorney and have them petition to set it aside.
I got you. Is it any more protected if you have your home in a trust?
I think it's the same valuation. If fraud is fraud, I think it probably does add a couple layers more difficulty for the fraudsters. And you're right. When fraudsters see difficult, they just skip on to the next. So sometimes it does add a layer of protection. Sometimes it entices them. Why? Because when they see the word trust, what do you think the fraudsters think, Mike?
Gosh, just that you're trying to protect your assets for your family members.
Not only that, they see money and they see the word trust. So then they just pivot the scam. So instead of trying to sell your property, they try to work what we call professional plaintiff scam, where someone goes on your property, gets injured, and then looks for the quick settlement.
Interesting. So I know I think technically with the trust, even though we have a trust, until one of my wife or I pass away, we don't really record the trust. So it doesn't really, but when I know I had the trust done, I think they put trust on the deed or to the home. But is it technically the trust not enforced till someone passes away and then you record the trust?
Well, if I didn't do your trust, I don't know. I mean, I would say go back to your attorney and ask them those questions. But in a standard trust, the trust is in effect when you create it. If it's a standard living revocable trust, which is our $695 trust package that we do.
Right. Well, it was Joe Pippin who did our trust. Obviously, I can't really go back to him, but I just didn't know if that.
But his practice is still around, and you're free to go to any attorney you'd like, Ken. So I would say just get with a good, reputable attorney there in your area, and they will be Mike. I'm sorry. Get with them and have it reviewed, and then they'll tell you exactly what you've got going on there. Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Awesome. Thanks for your time, man.
Mike,
appreciate it.
Yeah, Mike. Appreciate you calling in. Have a great Saturday. All right,
you too.
Thank you. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-943-9673. Mike hanging up does open up a phone line, so if you want to be part of the show, you want to share a scam, 877-943-9673. And again, to remind you, if you're unhappy with your homeowner's insurance increase, you can let the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation know up until June 22nd. They had the public hearing Thursday, June 8th, but comments open for public comment via email at ratehearings@floir.com, ratehearings@floir.com. Share with them your experience with your homeowner's rate. A lot of people are very angry about it, and a lot of people are looking to our state officials for some sort of relief, some sort of redress from this grievance of increased insurance premium. So 877-943-9673. I'm attorney Patrick Smith, and this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. All right, next we are going to go to Spring Hill, and we're going to talk to Alex about a phishing scam. Alex, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hello, thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
by the way, love this show. Love
Oh.
listening to you every Saturday.
Alex, I appreciate your faithful listenership. On what station do you listen, if you don't mind my asking?
The Bone,
All
of
right.
course, 102.5 The Bone.
Well, we appreciate that, Alex. How can we help you today?
So, it really just a comment. I mean, I had two, but I was going to go into the elderly scam because I am 34, and I have grandparents, and I actually own my own IT consulting company and have been doing IT for 15 plus years. And my grandparents, as wonderful as they are, technology just does not suit them very well. Now they can understand it and get around it, email addresses, phone numbers. They get a new cell phone every week, it seems. They got scammed out on her computer. They got a call on her phone, said, "Hey, we need to update your computer. Can you get us in?" She gets on the computer, and immediately they're already into the computer. So somehow they got her cell phone number and then reverse scammed her to get her computer, right? And she went through this whole debacle of installing a bunch of stuff and this and that, and I ended up having to clean it all. She has this problem, I would say, every couple of months somebody reattacks her. Now, she has antivirus software. She's got me behind it, putting in firewalls and this and that. Come to find out, they got into the ISP modem.
Wow.
The internet, yeah. And they had her IP address for her modem, and they just waited until they had an opportunity when she powered up a computer or something of that nature, the Wi-Fi. And I literally had to rip out the modem and the Wi-Fi, take it back to, the ISP, which I won't name names, and get a new one. And it went through this whole ordeal just to have it happen again. So I actually had to get involved and go into the ISP and kind of say, hey, we need to kind of change this.
That was going to be my next question for you, Alex, and I'm glad you rounded that out because it was going to be what was the solution that ultimately fixed the problem. Now, did they actually get something from the victim, or was it just a constant effort to get something? Because with as determined as they sounded, it's like they got something in the past and they were trying to dip in the well a second time, so to speak.
Yeah, I think so. What I went and did some digging with what she had like personally and what she had on her computer. Come to find out, she uses AOL email, and AOL email. I don't know if anybody uses it now these days. I mean, several people probably still do, but it is very slow. It's very unsecured. It's not a very reliable email service for as good as they were. They got into her email and they were constantly in there. Luckily, she did not fall victim. They didn't steal any money, but they got really close. She was on the phone with them and she's like, "Oh, this is weird." And she hung up. She immediately calls me and say, "Hey, I got this guy on my computer. He's saying it's broken. I need to update it. They want credit card information." I was like, "Nana, don't even continue with that route." And I immediately went to her house and I started diagnosing and figuring out the issues and that kind of thing. The ended up recourse for me to help subside her issues was get her a little bit more savvy. I got a couple of apps on her phone so that, like RoboKiller, so she doesn't get those telemarketing calls and that kind of thing. But the ISP, I told them to actually give me, this might be above some people's heads, but to give me a new IP address for the modem. So then that way they could no longer attack her at the ISP level. So in order to find her again, they'd have to go through the original scam that they found her in the first place, which I educated her on not to do.
Well,
and these are all from phishing emails and stuff. So it's
Alex,
a day-to-day
listen,
battle.
This quickly became in the running for my favorite call of the show because you call her Nana, and I too had a Nana. So you're a good man, Alex, for protecting your Nana, and more Nanas need more Alexes in their lives. So good on you for doing everything you did to protect. And I appreciate you calling in and sharing that story. I guarantee you, Alex, there's lots of Nanas listening right now who are going to benefit from you telling that story.
Awesome. That's good. That's good.
Alex, we appreciate you calling in. Have a great Saturday, okay?
You too, sir.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. 877-943-9673. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. Alex Hanging Up does open up the phone line if you want to be part of the show, and it's already filled. So they're queuing up the next calls, 877-943-9673. And you can call in now. We're discussing all things scams related for those of you just joining us. We started with insurance scams. We've now moved on and we're in knee deep in elderly scams. Our next elderly scam, we're going to talk about the grandparent scam. And I've asked Lexi to describe the grandparent scam, and I'll explain why. But Lexi, go ahead and give everybody, the folks listening, the description of what the grandparent scam is.
Sure. So the grandparent scam is essentially a scam where criminals will actually pose as your relatives, usually a child of yours or a grandchild, and usually claiming to be in financial need and asking for money.
Okay, the reason I had Lexi read that is because me describing it, this is not the voice you will get calling on the grandparent scam. Hey, grandma, I need money. Lexi's voice sounds like that. So, Lexi, I want you to play the scam artist. Max, you are going to be the elderly grandpa, okay? And I want it to be such that, Lexi, you are trying to scam Max for money to demonstrate this one in real time, how these calls go. So the phone rings, Max, you answer and go.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Grandpa. I am really struggling right now. My car broke down and my cat's about to die, and I really need help. Are you able to help me?
Of course, how can I do so?
I can take credit card, Visa, MasterCard, anything like that.
Okay, Lexi, you're a little too good at that. And Max, good for you. That was a great grandpa voice. I didn't expect that out of you. So, but that's how simple it is. They pull at those heartstrings, and all of a sudden you're handing over a credit card because you don't remember which grandkid this is. You just want to help them so that they stop. I thought you were going to fake cry for a second, Lexi, and I was like, that was going to be pure gold. Anyway, all right, Ryan's back. Ryan, our crime scene guy. Ryan, are you there? Do we have Ryan? I'm getting the signal that we do have Ryan. Ryan. Okay.
Oh.
Do we have a clear signal? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Okay. Go back. The question I asked was how you got into the crime scene cleanup business, because that's, like I said, not a very... So go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. So after graduating UF, I did 10 years fire service, EMS, hazmat, and counterterrorism. I met somebody on Craigslist. And at that time, it was not a scam, even though the FBI shut that site down and Backpage. But I met her. We went on one date. I told her my story. She's like, I could use you at my company. Went to work for her. A year later, I took her and 3 other employees and started our own company. And for a decade, we've been serving the state of Florida.
That is... You ought to write a book, Ryan. That has to be made into a Lifetime movie or something. That is such a great story.
3 or 4 offers, and nobody has come through yet to actually come through on the promise to write the book. So,
all right. Well, if they make it into a movie, I want to be invited to the premiere, Ryan. Okay.
Oh, no worries. And Sunshine Cleaning is another great movie related to what we do.
All right. Well, I don't know how many people from the show are going to call you, but since you called back and it had such a great answer, take 30 seconds and plug your business.
Allhazardresponse.org. We do crime scene cleanup, 813-751-7036. We hope you don't need us, but if you do, we're here to help.
So crimes have to be committed?
No, it can be trauma scenes. It can be hoarding. It can be sewage. I mean, we do all post 911 cleanup. So if you called the cops or didn't call the cops, we can come in and make the mess go away.
So if you had kind of you get home and your kid's throwing a crazy wild party, your house is in shambles, you're like, we're just one crime away from Ryan showing up and he'll take care of all this, right?
Yeah, and we also do the cleanups if, say they had a party with some drugs, we clean that up. Say somebody fell and we had blood on your couch, we clean that up. And I can tell you other stuff, but you probably don't want to hear the gory stuff.
Ryan, I assure you I do, just not on the air because the FCC is listening. But we're going to dub you Ryan the crime scene guy. Ryan, I want you to be a regular. You call in anytime you have something to share. If you have
I'm appreciating your show because we do work with cyber crimes, and a lot of what you're talking about is great information to prevent cyber crime.
Wow. Well, again, Ryan, we appreciate you calling back. Fantastic call. Have a great Saturday, okay?
Thank you.
All righty. All righty, listen to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Let's go to a very patient Ken in Sarasota. Ken, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Thank you.
How can we help you, Ken?
I'd like to know what documents are needed to go with a trust.
So to create a trust, to start the process at my office, I need a general idea of the family situation, marriage, children, a rough sketch of the assets, the gross value, the number of qualified assets. And by qualified, Ken, I mean IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, things of that nature, tax-deferred annuity products, and then a rough idea of who you want in charge and who you want your beneficiaries to be, because the goal is to have all that information such that we can assemble the first round of drafts for you to review, make edits to, and finalize your decisions, and then come in to effectuate the documents in a signing appointment. But I would say initially it's those answers that you need, and you also need a government-issued photo ID, a passport, driver's license, military ID, something of that nature.
Okay, I consider this a scam because I had a service prepare the trust, and I thought that it was complete. And
well, just don't say the name. Don't say the name of the service. Whatever you do, Ken. Okay.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't. I don't have pour over will. That's the one thing I need, and so I need to go with it, and I don't have any of those.
So this is one of the online or one of the pro forma kit services?
Yes.
Yeah, well, this is the example. I mean, a lot of times these doc services are promising, Ken, that what we will give you is a valid document or a not invalid document. And that can be a far cry from, Ken, here's the best document for you and your family. And that's our goal. When we craft an estate plan for a client, it's not just a plan. It's going through the details, the goals, the family, the finances, and finding a way to optimize achieving those goals. That can't be one size fits all. So I think that's the distinction there. And Ken, that is a great point. When you get these online pro forma services, a lot of times what you're getting are valid instruments, but it may not be the best instrument for you and your family. But a qualified attorney can tell you that. And that's why a lot of these online services, if you read the disclaimer language, what does it say at the bottom, Ken? Have you read the disclaimer?
I don't have it in front of me.
It'll say something to the effect of, it is not a attorney, not a law practice, and it should not be taken as a replacement for an attorney, something of that nature, something exculpatory. But Ken, great call, and I appreciate you pointing that out. If you need help or want someone to review it with you free of charge, I've got a Sarasota office. I'll give out the office line, bring it in. We'll take a look at it with you and see what, if anything, we need to do to fix it. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Ken. Hey, Ken, what station are you listening on down in Sarasota?
9:30.
9:30 a.m. 9:30. We appreciate you, Ken. Have a great Saturday. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith, and we are talking all things scams. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. And Ken hanging up opens up a line. We're going to go to Holiday next, and we're going to talk to, is it Lana?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Lana. Happy Saturday. What station are you listening on?
Thank you. 100.3 FM.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much, Lana. How can we help you?
Okay, my scams, credit cards. I received a phone call last week, and usually when I don't recognize the number, I let it go to voicemail. They left a voicemail message, very detailed, no accent, perfect American accent. And basically they're saying that they noticed that my credit card, the interest rates are going up, and that they wanted to speak to me about working out some kind of an agreement or something like that. And I obviously deleted the message. Then I got a call 2 days ago, and the same thing, another person, same credit card. Now that credit card was closed out about maybe 10, 15 years ago. And then when I looked on caller ID, the first person called from Russia, and the second person called from Colorado. So I saved the second message just in case I need it in the future.
So Colorado connected. I was actually targeted for a scam. It was a Colorado-based phone number that called me. This was years ago.
Okay.
And it was, but it was actually the IRS scam. So instead of a credit card that was past due, they told me you have a tax lien in your name. And for just pennies on the dollar, if I will give them my credit card right now, they will settle it and make it go away. And of course, when I said, hey, I believe you, I said, I just want you to send me a statement, something in writing. And I made the purposeful effort to say, fax it to my law office. And as soon as I said that, the line went dead. But the point being, these people will do this, and it doesn't take anything to make that phone call. And if they get 10 victims a day, think about the level of wealth they can generate with this fraud at very, very little cost on their end.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny because I had the card that they mentioned, but 10, 15 years ago. But anyway, I learned because I used to work for a company that they dealt with a lot of security things, and they trained their employees to look for scams.
Well,
So I was always hoping I'd get one so I could, make sure that I learned my lesson, which I did.
so prank calls now, as I understand it, are illegal. But if they call you, you can have as much fun with them as you want because they called you. That's a different set of rules. So I would encourage you to take it, turn a frown upside down. If they call you trying to scam you, just have fun with them. Find your own way to entertain yourself. That's what I do with it now.
Okay, thank you.
Lana,
Okay,
we appreciate you calling in. Thanks for listening, okay?
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye. All right, you listen to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and we still have so much more. We might have to do another show. We did not get to Nigerian prince scams. I mean, that is one of the classics. And we didn't get to that. Doctor scams. I mean, so we may just have to do another show on scams here in a couple weeks. The number for next week's show, 877-943-9673. If you want to be part of next week's broadcast, I'm Attorney Patrick Smith, and this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. That's your number to call into the law office next week. To reach us at the law office during the week, Monday through Friday, to schedule your complimentary consultation, Clearwater, Sarasota, Sun City Center, Claremont, 877-754-6764. Again, all of our office locations. You can call one number to schedule your complimentary consultation, 877-754-6764. And I do want to give a very special shout out to my Florida Gators who beat the South Carolina Gamecocks last night and are one win away from Omaha. You hear that, Max?
Yeah, I heard
South Carolina lost to my Gators. Max is at South Carolina. So everyone wish the Gators good luck today. One win away from Omaha. Everybody stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next week. And of course, go Gators.
The preceding was sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. W282CI Tampa, W271CY Lakeland, W262CP Bayonet Point.
Online at letstalkfaith.com or listen on TuneIn and Odyssey.
Faith Talk Tampa asks, how's your family surviving this inflation-battered economy? If you've accumulated lots of extra debt, you're not alone. But now it's time to fight back with Salem Tampa's $18,000 Get Caught Up sweepstakes. Imagine covering car payments, credit cards, home and school loans. Enter once each day at letstalkfaith.com and even earn bonus entries. Get out from under that crushing debt with the $18,000 Get Caught Up sweepstakes. Hurry and get entered today at letstalkfaith.com.
Cornerstone Pros. You don't allow just anyone into your home, and Cornerstone Pros